September 2014, when this happened, the journey began. I got a call from someone that I greatly respect, I work with daily, and she asked me, because she's a client that is undergoing a financial situation where they were losing their property. So I was asked if I was interested in possibly trying to negotiate the short sale settlement with the bank, because the bank is actually interested, but the client weren't entirely sure if it was worthwhile or if they were even able to, and also they had no idea who to turn to for this kind of thing. So because I was a connection through our mutual contact, that's when I got reached out to. And I said, well, I guess I'd consider it. I haven't done a short sale before, so this was early on in my broker career. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll be interested in taking it. And then my trusted person tells me they're losing more than one. So you successfully negotiate one, you'll probably be able to get the rest of the portfolio, which was about at least another 6 properties. I'm like, wow, so this is a bit of a gold mine. So that was a bit of I guess the main draw, that there's possibly more business in store from just one client if I can successfully negotiate this one, because it's different banks, different mortgages, and it operates kind of similar, but the procedures could be a little different with what some of these banks are looking for, more particular, because we're talking about different clientele here. So in order for me to be able to talk to the bank, I need to first talk to the clients, the homeowners, and the homeowners will then connect me to, as their agent, to the bank. So I made the call to the client. They were okay taking a call, but then because we're talking about financial stuff, about the situation, they were a little on guard about it, and I don't blame them. So when I expressed to them that this was a meeting that was being set up through our mutual contact, and they're like, okay, fine, meet us on this day. Like, okay, fine, we met on that day. So that day I go over, I meet up with them, I tell them that I was brought up to speed about the situation and that's happening, and that with their permission they gave our mutual contact the bank letter that was then shown to me to be able to basically get in contact with the bank if they permit me, because the letter said that they are willing to negotiate a short sale. The thing is that this was like the final letter to that effect, because apparently this has been going on for some time. The bank has been asking for a short sale for about a year, and the homeowners just they were basically letting it go to foreclosure, along with the rest of the sinking ship, because there was a lot of other property on that they were losing as well. So this was brought to my attention. I'm like, okay. So then I sat down with them. I explained to them the situation, and I actually pulled up my files so I could tell you my notes, because it just so happens that the bank that owned this particular mortgage was a bank that I had dealt with for many, many years through the construction side, and I communicated mostly with their assets management division in Utah. And from the construction side, I was very well versed on what happens after the foreclosure fact. So I called the bank from my own accord and asked them, hey, there's a possible short sale. I want to know what you guys would need in order to have a negotiation, and what would this even mean for the client. So I'm going to read to you the note that I have prepared that I presented to the client. And the short sale will not appear on your credit. So that's if you successfully negotiate the short sale. It could take 2 to 3 years, though, for you to be able to apply for a loan, assuming you only lost the one house. We're talking about a bunch of other property here. So this is me helping them in their senior age to be able to have a road to recovery from this financial calamity that they were undergoing, because they were losing all their properties. And if I successfully negotiate one and they hire me to negotiate the rest, then I tell them, look, if I successfully negotiate all the short sales, all of them are short sold, in 2 to 3 years you'll be able to apply for loans again, because you declare bankruptcy, you have to wait for about a decade. But a short sale, you can wait 2 to 3 years, and if you successfully negotiated the short sales, these will not appear in your credit. So you actually would want this, especially if you're that late in stage in life where you need all the help you can get if there's nobody else looking after you, which almost seemed to be the case with them. I did mention the credit will take a hit, obviously, because it'll appear as a debt settlement, but it won't appear as a short sell. Now, with this particular bank, I told them the review process for them to consider a short sell after submitting everything to them, it takes 21 days. And the thing is, during those 21 days, the bank will not give any updates. And if anyone calls in to request an update during that time, it actually hurts the progress. Yeah, believe that. Now, when it comes to a short sell, there is no cash out to the client who's selling the house, because it's a debt settlement. All of it goes to the bank. So I had to make that very clear to them in case they had any intentions of like, well, you're getting a commission out of this. Well, yeah, a commission, because I am being hired, should I be hired, to provide a service that costs money. And there's a lot of things that need to get involved with this. So after I explained this to them and went over a few other things, the client said, okay, it won't hurt to give it a shot. So, okay, let's give it a shot. They signed over the listing agreement, the short sale listing agreement to me, and me being able to represent them so I could communicate with the bank so I could get the ball rolling. And I told them, look, in my situation, I have a leg up to get the bank to the table faster because I have a construction background. Therefore, I can get a bid from the construction company to be able to provide all the documentation that's necessary in the first go to the bank, so they can immediately get a look-see as to what the asset is. Because first off, the bank is not even here. They're out of state. And what really helps, because I'm so used to reporting these things to asset managements, this is like this is after the foreclosure. So I'm basically able to give them an entire portfolio that they normally get after the fact beforehand. So I'm going to give them the pictures so they can see the property. I'm going to give them a repair report, a real repair report from a company that's actually on their approved vendors list. So they know they can actually rely on that estimate of repairs. And third, I was able to get a hold of a escrow company that specializes in short sales, because no escrow company is going to go do some legwork for you with the possibility of getting a deal. And I was able to get an escrow company that was able to play game with me, because they understood how the process worked, that you need to get a lot of pre-prepped docs in order to get the bank to the table for them to even open an escrow. So an escrow company has to be willing to be able to work ahead of time. And I found one that did. So I'm like, okay, great. So I was able to get all that over to the bank. I did the inspection and everything. I'll get to what happened in the inspection in a moment. But the point is that I was able to gather everything up and send it to the bank. Now, every time they check something was going wrong though. The bank was saying that there's some missing signatures, this is incomplete or whatever, and I had to go back to the escrow company and say, look, they say something's missing here. They're like, okay, so they just filled out a few more things. We got the settlement statement, this is called a HUD-1, and sent it back to them. And we waited because it's a 21-day process. Now, that's where we got to get to the process. First things first, though, I had to check the house. So when I was given the approval to be the real estate professional for the client, I got the address of the property, and it told me this is how you access it. I'm like, okay, so-and-so lives there. So, okay, who's so-and-so? Oh, they're a new tenant we just got in. Oh, a new tenant. Why is this a concern? Because they just signed a lease agreement with the new tenant, and they're losing their property. And one of the conditions for a short sale is for the property to be delivered vacant to the buyer. Like, oh crap. Then I knew, like, I have to start an eviction process. Like, let's see what happens. Let's see what I do. What can I do? There's possibly other options, and there was, but the point is that I have to go deliver the bad news to people I never met. So in order for me to even get this process going, I already told you that I was able to get an escrow company on my side. And because of my contractor connections, I was able to get a real bid. And because I had an inside knowledge with this particular bank, I had a better idea of how they worked. which is why they were enjoying working with me during the negotiation process, them being the bank. So I had to convince the client that begrudgingly said, okay, fine, let's do this. We'll see where it goes. The senior couple. And they told me about the tenants. So now I had to get the tenants on board with the situation. And there was no way of telling, because I don't know these people. I don't know any of them. I don't know what they have exchanged, but I know that because they signed the lease in the past few months, this is not going to look good, because they were not disclosed that the rent that they're paying is for a property that's going to foreclosure and will result with them on the street no matter what. So I'm like, oh man. So I forgot to turn on the creepy music. So here's the creepy music. Okay. So now this is where we get creepy. Yes, playing this creepy haunted house music. The house itself wasn't haunted, okay. So I show up at this property, knock on the door. Eventually I didn't find anybody there, but eventually I have to return when somebody's around, and when somebody's around I have to deliver some documents. So when they arrive, I'm like, oh hi, so and so, I am Andres from Marco Real Estate. I'm here to tell you that the client has put the property up for sale when we're currently negotiating with the bank. And the reason we're negotiating with the bank is because this notice is to inform you that this property is going into foreclosure, and I am beginning short sale negotiations with the bank to be able to stop that process so we can sell it. So in essence, we're racing against the clock here. And they looked at me with these eyes, this look in their eyes, this nice couple that had 3 children. Remember, this is September when I got the call about this. I start the proceedings in early October. They had already set up their Thanksgiving things. They were skipping Halloween altogether and setting up Thanksgiving. I'm like, my goodness, this is bad. And there were high emotions. And they told me they have no reason to cooperate. And I told them, yes, I understand. And of course, being contracted by the seller, they obviously have reason to believe that it's my fiduciary duty to the seller, and that therefore I have zero interest in the tenants, which isn't true, because especially as a property an investor in real estate income property. I'm already getting triggered. In real estate investment company, income property, I deal with tenants all the time, including when I manage my family estate as well. So our motto is a happy tenant means they take care of the unit and we get timely payments, and that's what we have strived to do for more than 2 decades. So I understand that part. So I understood the plight of the tenants in this case. So I asked them, look, is it okay? Can I sit down with you and explain to you your options in the situation? So then we sat down. They told me we're not going to pay the rent anymore, or this and that. And I told them, I understand your emotional state and whatever. What you decide to do between you and the owner is between the 2 of you. The situation we're faced with now is out of the control of the owner. This is the bank, the true owner of this property, because the client used a bank loan to pay for this property. Therefore, they don't have the say when it comes to the sale, but they are the vessel in which the bank can liquidate the property. So I am here to tell you what the bank is prepared to do for you in this situation, because one of the conditions required is that you vacate the premises. And of course, we're not going to vacate the premises. We've got into this lease and whatever, but we're not going to pay our rent and this and that. You know, that's all. Again, whatever you decide to do between you and the property owner is between both of you. I'm here to tell you what the bank is prepared to offer you. We have they have an offer called cash for keys, that if they get your cooperation and you vacate the premises prior to the sale, they will pay you X amount of dollars for your exit. But that money cannot be exchanged until escrow closes. And that means you'd have to leave before the escrow closes. They're like, holy smokes, how do we know it's going to close? And I told them, you don't. I'm just being straight up with you. You don't. That's the reality of things, because different factors can weigh in as to what can happen to an escrow transaction. And I can't tell you here that I guarantee you that escrow is going to sell. I mean, escrow is going to close, because I can't speak for the cooperation of all parties. Because if only one party doesn't do their job, we won't be able to close escrow. But here's my commitment to you, the tenants, equally as is my commitment to the client that's hired me, and my commitment to the bank. I will close this deal no matter what. I was brought in as a favor by a friend of a mutual contact with the client that told me about the situation. And I said, I am willing to help. I even went to the bank, and the way I got the bank to the table was this: bank, I will do this for us, a lower commission than you're typically used to paying out. They're like, well, if that's the case, then let's talk. And that's how I was able to get the bank to the table. That's how I was able to get the seller, in this case the client's cooperation, because I was able to strike a chord with the bank. And the tenants, they warmed up to me. They understood they understood that I understood their plight, and they also understood that I was very serious in getting into this, because I made something very, very clear that's not understood by many people for some reason. I told them, and I, as a broker, you need to know, because most people believe that agents run away with people's money. We don't get paid until escrow closes. So believe me, it's in my interest to get this deal settled and closed and make sure that escrow wires the funds, because my office gets the money first before they cut my check. So I need this to happen, because it's in my interest, as would be for you, to get this going. So they gave me their cooperation. We exchanged information. They gave me my contact information, and I told them I will never let anybody show up without you knowing. Any exchange of correspondence, you'll hear from me first, and if I have to deliver something, I will. So that was my commitment to the tenants, and they, with some skepticism, of course, begrudgingly agreed, because they were realizing they weren't having much of any options here. I would understand, because I'm sure they did. They probably looked into their legal options by speaking to an attorney and contacting friends that they have that might be familiar with the process. But that had nothing more to do with me. It had more to do between them and the seller, if it ever got to that point. So let's go now to the 21-day process that the bank is having to review all of this, because I'm doing this entire review the bank is doing this entire review, and I don't even know if they're even going to give the green light to consider this. So I turned everything over. They're like, okay. They said that they have some questions, as in, do you have a buyer? And it's like, well, I do have a buyer, and as someone that's interested in purchasing the property, but they would not purchase for any more than this much. And because of the state of repairs that the property is in, that was the bid that you saw. They're like, okay, well, if they can raise it up a little more, then we'll get to this point. So I was able to talk to my buyer that I did bring up, because I worked with sellers and investors. That's why I have a pool of investors that I work with. So I told them about this property, and they were able to provide an offer for it before going more so into the market. So it was able to be one day on the MLS, because there was some inside baseball that helped with this one. With this transaction, to get them to the table, because I didn't have any time to market this thing. So my buyer ends up backing out from the process when the bank demands more. So I told them, okay, let me shop it around. Is it okay if I have time to shop it around? They're like, yeah, go ahead, but you don't have much time. You have like 5 days. I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, let me see if I can find a buyer. And sure enough, I was getting calls from the first day. Like the first day that was on the MLS, I already had my buyer. But then some other ones were coming in. They were coming in a little lower. So that's why my buyer was still the better option. So it's not like I wasn't trying to look after the interest of the bank, okay? Because I want to disclose first and foremost that my interest was in getting the bank and the sellers to come to an agreement to be able to proceed with the sale. And my buyer was very serious and was making a serious offer for the property. I wasn't trying to secure a low ball for my investor, but I was trying to secure a deal for them in a sense that they had a shot at getting a property for less than normally would be the case if it was a fixed up property, because this was it's a property that needed some upgrades. But with the situation being that the bank was not entirely happy with the offer, being a little lower than they wanted, that's when they said that they wanted to see even more bids. So my buyer backed out of that one. More people were contacting me through the MLS, but they were offering less than my buyer. So again, I was presenting the better offer to the bank. So I was looking after their interest. So when I went back to the people that had previously wanted to submit an offer and they were coming in low, I told them, look, I already had a buyer, and they had negotiated around this price, and the bank rejected it. So if you want a shot at that, you need to come in a little higher than that. And I counter offered of those other offers, and they came back with, one of them came back with the highest offer, all cash. And that's what the bank wanted to hear, that it was an all cash offer, and that they were offering a lot better than my original buyer was, which was good. So when this buyer contacted me, it was the buyer contacted me directly and said, we want you to represent us. Like, okay, so you think that's going to help you in this sense then? That's what the original contact. I told him, I already have a buyer. So when my buyer backed out, I told him, look, my buyer backed out. Do you have an agent to represent you for this thing? And they say, no, we'd rather you did. So I'm like, okay, I'm willing to represent you then. And then the bank liked it. But we kept going back and forth with the bank and escrow, because something kept saying that, look, something's missing. Like, what else is missing? And it was about like 20 something days into it where it looked like the short sale was gonna fall through, because a glitch happened on their system. They're like, yeah, we're gonna stop the short sale proceeding, we're gonna proceed to foreclosure. I'm like, but why? Because something didn't turn up on the HUD-1, it's missing, you guys never provided it. Like, what do you mean you didn't provide it? I have an entire call log I've been keeping with you, bank, and this and that, and I spoke to so and so, and I have all the names, I have their ID numbers, and I have the dates and the times that I spoke with them. They're like, wow, you're very detailed. Yeah, I can't make all this stuff up. And I spoke to so and so in that department. They're like, oh, okay, let me look into this. So then they looked into it, it's like, oh yeah, sorry, it is here. We're gonna remove it off our list of the thingy. We can proceed. Sorry about that. It was a mix-up in paperwork. Like, please don't let it happen again, because that was a bit of a scare that we had gotten 1 month into this deal to make things work out, and then that thing happened. So like, okay, we're gonna proceed with our review process, and then we'll let you know if we need anything else. So like, okay, good. So with the bank eventually saying, yes, we'll accept this offer, we'll work with it, we'll go for it, you have permission to open escrow. I informed the buyers, like, look, buyer, they accepted the offer, there'll be no more countering here, so let's get escrow opened and let's proceed. So I contacted escrow and so let's get this going. And the escrow rep that I had been working with, she said, great, I have a very trusted title company that's going to help us in this situation, because in these situations with short sales, we need to be very careful with title. I understand. So within the first 3 days, as you could tell, it's a very long story. So in the first 3 days, the preliminary title report comes back, and something pops up in the title report. They're like, hey, it looks like there's a second mortgage to this thing, not just one. It's like, okay, what does that mean? There's a second mortgage. Yeah, okay, yeah, but what does it mean? It's like, well, what it means is that the current mortgage holder is the one you're negotiating with. But there is a second mortgage holder that has rights to this property that doesn't know about this proceedings, and they must be let known beforehand about the situation, because they'll have to get involved in title in order for us to be able to clear title to then be able to sell it. It's like, okay. This was the clock that was starting as of that day, and I said, okay, I'll look into it. I'll find out if they know anything. I'll talk to the client. So okay, I want to go talk to the client. It's like, hey, client, we got the preliminary title report back, and just something popped up. Do you have a second mortgage on this property? They're like, not to our knowledge. My goodness, what could it have been? Well, they don't remember. And apparently that second mortgage was like over 10 years old. So whatever it was, they don't even remember. They don't remember if they ever paid it off because they don't remember any collections on it. So it's like there was just really nothing there. And like, okay, I looked at the bank. The bank didn't exist anymore. So I contacted escrow and title when I told them about the situation. They're like, okay, we'll just leave it alone. And the escrow told me, yeah, it's going to be scratched off, so we won't have to worry about it. Like, okay, that's fine, because that's what supposedly the title rep had told the escrow officer. And I'm only conveying information here, people. I'm not saying this is what people should be doing. I'm just telling you what they told me. So I didn't think much any more of it, and just dealt with the transaction side of things with the buyer, seller, and the tenant. Then one day I get a call from the tenants. This is late October, nearing Halloween. So I get a call from the tenants, and they told me, how could you do this to us? This is not what we agreed upon. I'm like, I'm sorry, what are you talking about? They're like, you sent us a letter. I said, I didn't send you any letter. It's like, yeah, we received a letter that's demanding payment for the rent. I'm like, demanding payment for the rent? Oh, does it have the client's name on it? It's like, yeah, it has the client's name on it. It's like, okay, that has nothing to do with me though. Did you guys stop paying the rent? Yeah, we stopped paying the rent because he's not paying the mortgage. It's like, okay, remember, that's between both of you. But please, let me talk to the client, because they said, yeah, you better talk to the client, because we're not going to move out anymore. We're not going to cooperate with your transaction anymore. So I'm like, oh crap, let me just talk to the client, okay? Because I cannot lose their cooperation, because if they don't leave, I can't sell the property, because the buyer's expecting the property to come in vacant per the agreement, because the bank said they only sell if it's vacant, and the buyer has said they will not take it without being vacant, and I can't successfully negotiate a short sale if I don't have a buyer that will acquire the property, in this case vacant. So I call up the client. I tell him, and I'm upset, because like, did you send a demand letter to the tenant? And he's like, yeah, I did. It's like, oh, come on. It's like, Andres, I'm suing them. It's like, oh my goodness, you're suing them. It's like, yes, Andres. I mean, they're being kicked out. When they're kicked out, they still owe me rent per the lease. It's like, well, technically he's right. So that's a lesson for you folks. A landlord still has the power to do that, because you entered an agreement with him. You didn't enter an agreement with the bank. So back to the thing. And when he told me that, I'm like, oh my goodness, sir, do you understand that I'm losing the cooperation of the tenants? I might not be able to successfully negotiate this short sale if I don't have the cooperation. Well, I don't mean to step on your toes here, but whether you negotiate it successfully or not it means nothing to me. I just want to make sure I secure my money. He said that because he knows that this is the debt settlement with the bank. He's losing the property. He doesn't care. The bank is the one that cares about the money. I'm giving them a way out to be able to successfully negotiate a debt settlement that could help them get back on their feet 2 to 3 years from now. But instead of seeing that, they're looking at the now. That's my rental money. Once they leave, how am I going to get my money from them? I'm suing them to secure my funds. I want to get a judgment against them to make sure they pay me the rent that I'm owed. Sir, let me deal with this. So I drive straight to the property, which is about 30 miles from where I typically am, and it's about a 1.5 hour drive in traffic every time. So I go over, I see the tenant, like, hi, I came directly to you. Can I see the letter? It's like, yes. And so I got the letter. I sat down with them and I'm reading it to them. Like, then I'm really understanding what this is. I'm like, folks, let me tell you, this letter is not just a demand letter for rent. He's suing you. Whether you stay here and this property goes to foreclosure, or whether you cooperate and leave, it's no different now. He's coming after you. He says he wants to secure his money, and this is how he's securing it. He's suing you because you didn't pay him the rent, so he's He's suing you for the back rent and the future rent that's owed, etc. Per the lease, and you're gonna need an attorney to fight this. And they didn't like hearing any of that, obviously. And I told them that, look, he's within his right. Just like you're in your right to understandably be emotionally disturbed and say you don't want to cooperate. If I were you, this is what I would do. I would cooperate with the transaction. What you do with the owners is, again, I don't want to take any sides in this because I understand your plight and I also understand them. And legally, I'm bound to be in their interest, but I also understand what's happening here with you. You would want to be cooperating because now the money that the bank, not the owner, the bank is offering you, you're going to need it. You're going to need it for this case. And they told me that to think about it, that they'll confer and let me know. So I'm so sorry about all this, I told them. This is just... I'm sorry. The tenants do call me and tell me, look, Andres, we do want the funds that the bank is offering us. So we have discussed among ourselves that we will cooperate with you. Please let us know how the transaction is going, if anything comes up, anything you might need. This and that, please let us know. It's like, I will keep you posted, and believe me, I will get this transaction closed. I call the client, I tell him, look, I was able to secure the cooperation of the tenants, and I had told them that whatever situation is going on between them and you is between them and you. My interest is a transaction that you hired me to negotiate with the bank, and I will proceed with that. I didn't want to immediately mention this to the client, but I had to because I needed their signature on it. That the bank was offering funds for the tenants to vacate the premises. So they eventually had to see that. So I can't keep it from them. So I had to tell them that yes, the bank is offering this, and they need you to sign here for this form in what they're doing. Oh, you should have seen his eyes lit up. Well, and I'm saying his as a gender neutral pronoun, by the way. So I'm speaking in generalities for everyone's protection here that was involved in the transaction, from buyers, sellers, banks, and tenants alike, and eventually, what you're about to find out as the snowball gets bigger. The seller did not like that at all. Like, I want that funds. I want that money. I told him, you can want it all you want, and that's not yours. It's for the tenants that the bank is giving them. Okay? This is not going through you. This is from the bank, because we need the property to be vacant, and the only way it can be vacated is a cash for keys agreement between the bank and the seller. I mean, between the bank and the tenants. And because you're the seller, we need your sign off on this. They begrudgingly signed. They were not happy about that, but eventually they signed. Okay. And I asked them, hey, by the way, did you find anything at all about a second mortgage? Like, nope, nothing. Oh, okay. I spoke to their accountant too. He's like, do you know anything about a second mortgage? Like, I checked all the records. I don't see anything about a second mortgage. Oh, okay. Then maybe it's nothing. And I communicated eventually an update, and I asked Esquintal, I was like, hey, anything on your end that you might have found, because nothing's been found on their end. They don't know anything about a second mortgage. I'm like, yeah, okay, no, it will just let bygones be bygones. Leave it alone. Okay, cool. All right, so we proceed. And the buyers are like, okay, let us know when we can proceed with our inspections. We just need the tenants out of there before we can do something and move in to check it. Like, well, yeah, you can still go see it. So I got the buyers over. They got to see it. Like, oh yeah. The buyer shows up with her elderly parents that she's gonna buy it for them and this and that. Look, I've been in this business on the buying side for quite a while before I became a professional real estate broker. I understand the game. I knew for a fact they were not buying this as a move-in home. They were buying this as an investment home that they wanted to flip because they needed to put on a face, and I was not falling for it. But whatever, that's got nothing to do with me. I don't care what to do with the property. It's in their interest to secure it. So like, oh, they like the house. They saw like, oh yeah, it's pretty standard fare for this kind of area. It appeases the demographic that they're aiming for. So there you go. All right, cool. Not my concern. Whatever. So everything's proceeding seemingly as planned. Just hit that big old hiccup, right, with the lawsuit between the tenants and the seller that threatened to stall the project or the transaction. Then the bank kept having some glitches that I kept fixing. So when that was fixed, no more concerns there. So to make sure everything was still coming along swimmingly, I reach out to escrow and ask them if anything else. And I asked for so-and-so. They're like, yeah, so-and-so's not here. It's like, okay, can you just pass on the message for so-and-so so they can get back to me? Like, yeah, sure. Not once did they mention to me that the escrow officer that helped me get this deal in traction left the company. I was left in the dark for about a week. Things were falling behind on the escrow side that the bank needed. And nobody there had any idea what to do because the only person that dealt with short sales was the escrow officer that left the company. Eventually, I get a call from the escrow manager. Calls me up and says, "Hey, look, we kept you in the dark about a situation." What situation? The escrow officer you've been working with, she's gone. We do have a new escrow officer. I'm gonna get you connected with her. But I just want you to know that so and so no longer works with us, and her file's been passed over to the new escrow officer. Is that okay? Well, we're behind on certain things, bro. We got to get on track because the bank needs certain documents that needed to be sent, and escrow is fudging the numbers here because something's going on with some of the update settlement statements that are not matching up. So keep that in check. But I need confirmation about something here. So get your people in order. Let's get it working. Let's proceed. Okay, go. The new escrow officer had no idea what the hell she was doing. That was already bad. And she was being in charge of a powder keg situation with my transaction because the title company reached out to escrow because the new escrow officer checked in my file, communicated with escrow to talk about the preliminary title report that we had gotten weeks earlier, and it showed that there's that second mortgage. This second mortgage thing was like rearing its ugly head again. So like, okay, whatever transpired between the original escrow officer and that title rep, because they were best of friends or something like that, apparently they stopped talking to one another. So when they stopped talking to one another, title was no longer operating efficiently and effectively on the file, and the escrow had no idea what the hell to do with my transaction and the things that were falling behind that were needed to be turned over. Because I needed to get things for the buyer, I needed to get things for the seller, I needed to get things for the bank, because technically there's two clients behind the seller side, the seller and the bank, and of course exchanges between any other parties and clearing things to get ready for the eventual transfer of the property and the exchange of monies, and that wasn't happening. So like, okay, I need you guys to get your crap together. This is getting crazy. At the same time, the seller is ramping up his threats to the tenants that is threatening to sabotage the transaction. And I was trying to make it clear, speak through your attorneys. Stop speaking directly to them. The seller was going to the property, knocking on the door, demanding that they pay the rent, threatening them from the door. It's like, stop doing that. I was getting calls from the tenants. He's knocking at our door. Do you hear it? Holy smokes. It's like, sir, they are under no more obligation to pay you the rent because they're fighting this with you in the court of law because you're the one who threatened a lawsuit. So you trying to come ahead of the curve isn't helping things. You told them you're taking them to court, so they're gonna fight you in court. so don't go demanding the rent over there. It's like, Andres, I'm gonna evict them. Sir, I am negotiating a cash for keys. They're going to leave. No, they are not leaving without having an eviction record on their record. I want to make sure they hurt when they look for the next property. It's like, what the hell? It's like, dude, this isn't happening. I thought we had this conversation already. Nope, that's exactly what he started to do. He started getting eviction proceedings going. It's like, oh my goodness. Then the tenants were straight up panicked about this because they started getting a lot more people on their side to fight this. And like, oh crap, I'm going up against the clock. So I called the bank, yo, how are we looking on your side? We're looking good with the process. No, Andres, we're missing this and this and this and this and that. It's like, oh my goodness. I call escrow, they need this and that. It's like, you need to get this going. Escrow wasn't doing it. My goodness, hurry up. We already lost 1 week that you idiots didn't tell me that the escrow officer had left. Now we lost another week because the new escrow officer has no idea what the hell she's doing. You get your crap straight. We need to get this done. We've lost 2 weeks. Thanksgiving is upon us, and I need to get the buyer's things going because we have a close of escrow date of the end of November. We were supposed to close this escrow in 30 days from the time that the bank had agreed with the buyer that we can proceed. And of course, getting everything ready. Look, that doesn't happen in a short sale. Never does that happen in a short sale. These can take about a year. High tense stress situations. But this thing was a powder keg. And everybody wanted to get out of it, and everybody wanted to make sure we closed before the holidays. The intent originally was to close before Thanksgiving. I knew that wasn't going to happen, so I told everybody, calm down your expectations. That's not going to happen. We're going to close at the end of November. That is our goal. But if we can close before Thanksgiving, we will. Buyers, you already wired in your deposit. Thank you so much. Get everything else lined up. I will close this. Then the buyer says, thank you, Andres, but this preliminary title report says that there's a second mortgage. I've already been looking into that. It shouldn't be a concern. It'll be wiped away from the record, so you're gonna have clean title when you take possession of the property. So escrow wasn't getting it done, and because I told them, you guys need to get title on your side to make sure that they had put a strike on that second mortgage, on that preliminary title, per the previous escrow officer's notes. It's like, okay, and because the new escrow officer was not meshing with the title rep, they stopped talking altogether. So I was emailing directly to the title company and telling them, because apparently I had to be the freaking liaison because escrow wasn't getting the job done. And I even had to coordinate everything for the buyer to the escrow because escrow didn't know how to coordinate any digital signatures. They didn't know how to do mail carriers because they were in a state of chaos because they had to get every single other transaction in line with the new escrow officer since the other one just got up and left. I'm like, what the hell, man? So then I eventually I get a response back from title and said, we never agreed that we're going to strike that thing off the title. I don't know who told you that. We can't do that. It's illegal. You have to get a hold of, you have to clear this second mortgage. I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? It's like, I'm only conveying the message of what has been told to me since the beginning between the original escrow officer and you, that you guys have agreed that you will strike it. After that, title stopped responding to me. I'm like, what the hell? They stopped responding to any of the emails. They weren't talking to escrow. I'm like, okay, this is getting serious, and it's just it's crazy. And by this time, I have a lot of pressure that's happening, and it happens to be in a very busy season for every business that I run. Taxes and personal things that I had to deal with because got to get ready for closing out the new year, and I got to prepare my own taxes and everything. So my goodness, there's just so many things I had to get in order, and this thing was taking up 25 of my 24 hours. I'm like, this is nuts. My phone would be ringing off the hook, emails would be coming through, misinformation, misunderstood, there was an error, I don't have this is missing, I don't have that, we're behind on this. I'm like, my goodness, what more can I do? This was a freaking favor. So it's crazy. I'm getting panicked emails, phone calls, text messages from the tenant side. The seller tells me that he doesn't care whether I succeed or not. I'm gonna go do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna secure my money. I had the bank telling me, it's like, we're gonna cancel this thing if we don't receive these things by this time because it's falling behind. And the buyer is like, what the hell's going on? And I'm like, I'm trying to figure this out. And escrow, no one is picking up the phone to answer me. No one's responding to my emails anymore. So I show up to their offices. I'm like, I'm here. Where the hell are you guys? I'm looking at all of you here. What is going on? So they're like, oh yeah, sorry man, this and that. That's not good enough. I have a ton of people that are gonna be in an uproar if this thing falls through. I have people that are gonna be on the streets. I have people that are suing other people, and I have others that could possibly sue me because of all this nonsense. You guys need to get your crap together. The only one I couldn't go confront personally was Title. Time was wearing on. We're approaching the finale of the timeline. We don't make it, we have to extend. I'm like, how can I secure the cash for keys if escrow doesn't even know what the hell to do? They keep screwing up their balancing on numbers and stuff, and I knew I was gonna come back to haunt us, which it did. So, but I get a call. It felt like a random call out of nowhere, a number I didn't recognize. So I got a call, and the call happened to be from the previous escrow officer. She called to tell me that she apologizes for the situation, that she had to leave. And I told her, I am so glad that you called me, because I am in a pickle, and it's because you left. They're like, what are you talking about? And I explained to her everything, and she's like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry about all this. You have to understand that there was a fallout that's been brewing for some time before I even got involved in this transaction, between her and the owner of the company, who seemed to be doing fishy things inside the escrow. I didn't really know what he was doing. So I'm like, oh my goodness, this is not something I needed to hear at this point. So like, I have a problem that I have an incompetent escrow officer handling my case now. And she's like, this is what I'll do for you. I will put my biases aside, and I'll reach out to the escrow officer and the manager, and I'll tell them, look, I'll finish this file for Andres, and that's it. I'm done. I'm out of there. But okay, that's how it was supposedly gonna go. So when the previous escrow officer got the file, she's like, what is this? And she was trying to make sense of the whole thing, because it was just all over the place, and she was putting it all together. And apparently, it's just like the expression, there's two cocks in the hen house, because they fight each other. That's exactly what happened between the two escrow officers. The escrow officer in the office was refusing to eventually cooperate with the previous escrow officer. I guess didn't like her for some reason. So that was becoming a problem, because she wasn't getting everything she needed to. And every time she said that you guys needed to do this, the escrow wouldn't do it. So she was losing it. And I told the previous escrow officer, hey, so we have a situation where it's becoming more of an attention problem with this thing that popped up in preliminary title about a second mortgage. A title says it's not going to strike it. Can you talk to the rep, because she's saying that you both never agreed to do that. They're like, well, that's not what we discussed. So then the previous escrow officer touched bases with the title rep, and then the title rep told her what she told me. Never agreed. So then the escrow officer, the previous escrow officer, told me, like, look, yeah, this is not going to strike it. They're like, that's not what was agreed upon, though. Now what am I supposed to do? And she's like, I don't really know what there is to do. I mean, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. But this is what I'll do for you. I will go back to that office, and I will work on your file from there, because nobody's giving me anything. So at least on the escrow, on the transaction side of things, I will do what I can to help close this deal. It's like, well, thank you. So at least I have someone on my side. She got up and went. By the way, in the meanwhile, through this entirety of this transaction, it's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of documents that go back and forth, okay? So to make sure that everything is proper, a professional broker and agent would typically hire an assistant in the form of what is called a transaction coordinator, to make sure that all the T's the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, all that stuff. So I had a TC that's been working with me since we opened escrow to make sure everything was in order. But the thing is, because there's so much back and forth and replacing documents, it was a little crazy. So I had told my TC every single week, check the file. Check the file. We need to make sure everything is there. Something comes up, you tell me, and sure enough, something will always come up that we needed this or we needed that. That's what was contributing to the slowdown with the escrow side and sometimes the buyer side, because there were things that weren't being put properly on the documents or signed properly and dated. So my goodness. So that's why I had a TC working on this the entirety of the time. So after I was trying to get everybody coordinated, Thanksgiving's coming. Like, what do I do? And normally I cook for Thanksgiving, so I'm like, this is not looking good. I'm not gonna be able to cook for Thanksgiving, and I'm not gonna be able to enjoy my favorite holiday of the year. So as time was coming, I'm like, let me see what I can do. I pick up the phone, I call title. It was a Monday morning. I call, and lo and behold, the one who answered the phone happened to be the title rep. And I told her, hey, I'm Andres from Mark One Real Estate regarding the property with the situation on the second mortgage. And as soon as I said that, she snapped at me. She said, I am not going to do what you're telling me to do. It's like, excuse me? It's like, I will not strike it from it. I'm not going to do something illegal, so stop asking me to do something illegal. It's like, I'm not calling you to ask you for something illegal. I'm calling to ask you, what are the options? What can we do to get this off the record? Because apparently nobody knows what the heck to talk about. I've been reaching out with, and I'm not getting any clear answers. What must I do to get this off the record? I need direction. Please help me here. We are in a very intense situation, and nobody's giving any clearance. Escrow's falling apart, as much as you know, because of the competing escrow officers over there. And misinformation has been given to me, and I was basing myself off that. I am not asking you to hold to something you cannot do. I'm asking you to tell me what can be done so we can get this thing done. And she said, okay, look, it's obvious that that bank that held that mortgage is dissolved, but their assets are normally transferred somewhere else. So the only thing you can do is find out where those assets ended up. It's like, you mean which bank now holds this mortgage possibly? It's like, yes. It's like, oh. See, that wasn't so hard. It's like, yeah. So, okay, go ahead. Like, thank you. That's enough for me to go on. I'll get on this immediately. So I get on Google, because what else can I use? Yeah, right, I'm gonna use Bing. So I started doing a search. I looked at the bank. Then like it was dissolved on this year, whatever, like a year or two after the second mortgage was filed. So I'm like, wow, that bank went up pretty quick. Then I looked up the next bank over. That bank dissolved too. So I'm like, crap, man, what the heck? Then I found another bank, and that's seemingly where the trail ended. I'm like, oh, cool. So I was able to get a hold of someone over at the bank, and I told them, hey, look, I got the situation. There's a second mortgage on title on this property in this state. The previous escrow holder was so-and-so. I mean, the previous mortgage holder was so-and-so, and before that was so-and-so, and it looks like the liquid assets are now under your possession. What I need from you is to show if the mortgage has either been satisfied, as in nothing is owed, I need something to that effect, or if you do owe something, you need to get on board right now with the current short sale so you can have your mortgage paid out of the proceeds of this short sale. Because escrow's gonna need your information, title's gonna need your information, and they're gonna need you to also show satisfaction of that debt, because this is a short sale. Oh, okay, thank you so much for letting us know about this, Andres. We're gonna look it up, and we'll let you know. So I gotta call back and say, hey, guess what? It's settled. Like, oh, thank you, got some good news. So like, okay, great. So then okay, here you go. We're emailing you the certificate to show that this is all over and done with. All right, great. So I got it. I forwarded it to title, and so the title's like, look, this is what I got from the bank. They're like, oh, good, but where's the assets? Like, what do you mean? Well, according to this document, they say it's settled on their side because they sold it to somebody else. Like, what? It's like, yeah. I looked at the form, and nowhere did it say who they sold it to. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Back to Google. Search, nothing. I called the company. It's like, yo, you sent me a form. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, it doesn't help me because it says here that you guys sold the asset to somebody else. Well, yeah, that's why it's settled. Well, yeah, but that's not what I'm looking for, because then that means the mortgage is still outstanding. Now I got to get a hold of that mortgage holder to find out if they settled it or if they are going to lay claim to the property. Like, oh, yes, okay. Let me help you look it up. It's like, well, look, I found the bank's name, but I don't have a contact number for them. It's like, well, it's okay. I'll look it up on Google. So I got the information. It's a bank in Louisiana. It's like, okay, cool. So I got the information. I called the bank in Louisiana. They're in Louisiana time. So I called and was talking to them for a little bit. And eventually I get to speak to the vice president of that company. And I tell them about the situation that I'm faced. They didn't sound all too happy about it. Whatever, you know. It's like, well, is it settled or is it not? Because if it's settled, then I need a document to the effect to show this. And if it isn't, to, you know, for you guys to lay claim to the property. Like, no, it's settled. We didn't sell it to anybody else. It's settled. So that was that. And they're like, okay. And we hanged up. The emails were going back and forth. Actually, let me recap. The exchanges were through email to show that it was settled, but they wouldn't give me a certificate. So we needed that for title, because the emails are not enough. It's not legally binding. So we needed something written professionally from a financial institution to show that there's zero balance due. So I'm like, okay. And I kept asking. My emails were being ignored at that point, and this was about a week into this whole thing. Like, my goodness, this sucks. This is when I finally call, because I do get the vice president to answer the phone, and then I tell her, I am Andres, calling from Marco in Real Estate here in California. And she's like, oh, it's you. I shouldn't have answered the phone. Give me one reason I shouldn't hang up on you. Like, oh my goodness. It's like, ma'am, please listen. Like, I didn't want to do this transaction. I got tenants that are going to end up on the street no matter what. The bank that's settling this short sale is willing to give them cash for keys, and I can't get it if I can't close this deal. And I can't close this deal because preliminary title shows there's a second mortgage that's outstanding that you're telling me that's settled. And you won't give me the certificate to prove to title to strike it off so I can close this transaction to get the buyers to buy it and settle with the bank so the tenants can have some money. I'm begging you, please help me. He's like, fine. I'll have my attorney call you. It's like, okay, thank you. I spoke with him. Very nice man. I gave him the number because he needed to send the document directly to the title company. So I gave him the email and the contact information for him to be able to direct the information properly to them and what they needed. So, okay, great. So I gave him that information. Remember, he's in Louisiana. So that was a Wednesday. It was a Thursday. He reached out Friday again, and he called that afternoon, late hours from his side, and nobody at title answered him, and to which then he called me, and I apologized that this attorney was making time to communicate and get something directly out to me, and at title failed to do this. I was so infuriated that weekend. I needed to cool off, and I don't know how. It was a very high stress time. So that Sunday night, leading into Monday, I email blasted everyone involved in the transaction. I let them know everything that I had to do because none of them were doing their job, and how it culminated with title leaving me hanging. And I finally got the bank after they finally told me what the heck to do in the first place, instead of just, no, we're not gonna do that. It's like, I'm asking you, what do we need to get it done? I got the answers, and everyone failed at their job. I made that as clear as possible, that the attorney in a different time zone called on separate occasions to ask title, what do you need? Nobody called back. No one responded to emails. They failed to get it done. And I said, get your act together or I will sue. I didn't say I will sue, but I threatened it in there in different legal terms. But I'm just giving you the gist of my legal lingo when I said it. People were offended in the right way when they realized the powder keg situation leading up to that Thanksgiving, that I needed to secure the keys from the tenants with the promise that I will close this deal. And because I kid you not, I'm summarizing an event that was about 3 to 4 months as it all played out, that every single day I was getting calls and emails, text messages of something going wrong. And this is the BlackBerry days. I love my BlackBerries. But the blinking light became a trigger of anxiety. So right before Thanksgiving, I was driving to Chino between Diamond Bar, the 57 to Chino, through a cutoff. It's a place that goes through a canyon. So I'm in California, for those that don't know. So as I'm driving through there, it's a canyon area, and because the phone was always like ringing off the hook for whatever reason, I was so like nervous and ticked all the time that during a curve I was trying to pick up the phone to read the message that was coming through, because I'm like, what now? And I nearly drove off the cliff there. I swerved and was able to regain control while I was driving, so I didn't swerve out and I didn't hit any oncoming traffic. That's when I realized this thing's gonna kill me if I don't close it. And secondly, I cannot be triggered even by spam, because the email that I got was a spam email. That was enough to trigger me too. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's meaningless. So I ended up buying a Pebble as a wearable, so then I could control a little more. It's like, okay, that's not worth my time. If I need a call, I'll call. But that's why I ended up buying a Pebble, the Pebble Steel, which I reviewed at my YouTube channel. But that's why I ended up using wearables, and I haven't stopped using wearables ever since. So the title company did apologize to me. We're able to connect with the attorney, and they were able to receive the documentation for title to strike officially and properly the second mortgage off the list. Since it was settled, they don't have to draft up new documents and going from the beginning, because it was a new a company that needed to open their own short sale proceeding. We didn't need to do that, so thank God for that. And it was Tuesday before Thanksgiving that I had already arranged. The tenants had called me and said, hey, we're picking up the last of our stuff on Tuesday, and you can come at nighttime, then we'll give you the keys. So I showed up and there were the kids getting into the car. They were crying. It's like, oh my goodness. When I got there, I'm like, crap, how am I not gonna cry? This just sucks, man. So I get there, and I'm gonna I asked the parents, can I speak to you inside the house? We walked inside the house. It's empty. Nothing's there. The decorations have been taken down and everything. I'm like, oh, this so sucks. So, and I told them, thank you. And as I was talking to them, one of their relatives / friends runs in there and says, I'm gonna stand right here. I'm like, okay, good for you. And I told him, here is everything that we've got to, and this is the escrow close date that we're aiming to close. And as soon as it closes, that's when it'll wire, and I need information for where the bank can send you the funds. The other woman that went in, that was supposed to doing a service for them, said, don't listen to him. He's trying to steal your money. I'm like, what? All he cares about is his seller. He doesn't care about you. He just wants the keys, and you're never going to hear from him again. I'm like, woman? Like, this is none of your business? It's like they had been given written documents as to what the bank intends to do, and I'm telling them like that I need the information for where the bank can forward to them, and I cannot get it forwarded to them ahead of time. Like, no, you said you're going to give them the money for the keys. They cannot get the money, and as I explained to them, the only way they can is through the close of escrow. This escrow is not closed, so therefore they cannot get their money. And it's because of that I brought a gesture of good faith, and I pulled out of my pocket $1,000 in cash from my savings account. I said, this is $1,000, and I'm here to give it to them in exchange for the keys. It's like, no, you promised him. I didn't promise him. The bank promised him. This is $1,000 from my own pocket, from the savings account for my 1-year-old daughter, my first child. This is meant to be for her college funds. And I'm taking it out and giving it to them because I trust them to give me my $1,000 back when I close this deal and they get their money. I expect you to hold true to your side, that when you get the funds, you'll call me so that I can get my money back. Because if I fail to close this deal, there's no reason you have to turn my money back. And I don't get paid unless this deal is closed. No one's giving me a cent to this point, and I brought us all the way to here. Against all odds, I brought us all the way to this point. So don't tell me I'm here to steal their money. This sucks. I care about what's happening here. And I want to see this done because I came to do this as a favor. I didn't want to do this. But I'm seeing it through because it's in everyone's best interest for us to get done. The lady stayed quiet. They didn't say anything else. The tenants acknowledged, they agreed. It's like, well, we'll give you the money back once we get ours. Thank you for your gesture. And they gave me the keys. They stepped outside. I made sure all the doors were locked. I stepped outside. And the couple walked hand in hand, sobbing as they went to their car that was taking them to their hotel. And I walked back crying to my car. Like, I need this to be done. I was able to secure the keys for the tenants. So I told the buyers that the tenants were gone. I told the sellers the tenants were gone. We were clear to close escrow. We had Thanksgiving weekend coming up though, so that kind of sucked. And that Wednesday, because it was a Tuesday that I got the keys. Wednesday, the buyer calls me and says that their home inspector wants to go see it. I'm like, home inspector? It's a short sale, for sale as is. But you know, whatever. So then I'm like, I play ball. I show up to the property. The home inspector's going in. They want to get an assessment of how everything's going or whatever. And we're supposed to record on, I believe it was Friday, but it was going to be too short. So everything's going to be ready for the Monday thereafter, after Thanksgiving. So we had recording scheduled for Monday. The home inspector goes Wednesday, and like they walked it through, checked everything. I'm like, yeah, you know, there it is. Tenants are gone, like I said they were. I'm like, oh, okay, great. Okay, so then that was done, and when all said and done, they walk away. Like, all right, let's get the funds transferred over on Friday, so we can close escrow on Monday when we get to for the recording. It's like, okay, cool. So then Friday comes around, we have recording scheduled for Monday. So on Monday, when I call in and ask, because it was supposed to be a Monday morning recording, it's like, hey, Monday morning, like, because you know, it's Friday after Black Friday is kind of like a day off, so not much happens. So I talked to escrow. It's like, hey, how did recording go? It's like, oh, we canceled recording. What do you mean you canceled recording? Oh, because your buyer called to cancel. I'm like, excuse me? What do you mean my buyer called to cancel recording? So I didn't hear anything about this. Yeah, they called me and said they're not going to wire because they didn't send the funds over, and they said cancel the recording. Like, wait. What the hell is this? So then I hang up. I call my buyer. It's like, hey, what the hell is going on? Who gave you authority to call the escrow to cancel escrow? I mean, to cancel the recording. You didn't tell me anything. Oh, Andres, it's because the home inspection report came back and there's asbestos in the ceiling. Excuse me, you're buying an as-is home and you did get to see it ahead of time. I, by courtesy, gave you a home inspection. Oh, you didn't really give us much time to do a home inspection. You had over a month, if you really wanted to get a home inspector in there, to get the home inspector in there. And I got the home inspector in there as a courtesy on an as-is transaction. Now you're telling me you either want to back out or you want some kind of credit on a short sale? It's like, well, yeah. It's like, that's not how it works here. This was an as-is transaction. No repairs, no credits. That was the conversation. If I take this back to the bank, which I know they're going to say no, but if I take this back to the bank, they're going to turn this down. It's like, well, sorry, Andres. It's just that we didn't know about the asbestos. You didn't give us much time to do this. Like, you had over a month. You can't tell me I didn't give you time. You had plenty of time. but I know what you're doing here. This is a game. But I'll see what I can do. Maybe there is a credit I can secure for you. If I can secure a $5,000 credit from the bank, is that enough? Oh, wow, that's even more than what we expected. Sure, if you can go ahead and do that. It's like, I'll get to the bottom of this. I called the bank. I told the bank, yo, hey, you know how there was $5,000 that you were, see, I didn't tell you all the details. This is from the HUD-1 report that was settlement reports that being back and forth from between escrow and the bank. So there's $5,000 that was in limbo, that was meant to go to the previous buyer, but we got a new buyer. So that was never really determined where it would land. Would it be okay? Because now the buyers are complaining. That's what they came up in the home inspection report, that possibly would hurt the resale value of their property. So they're wondering if possibly we can adjust the HUD and escrow forms that the $5,000 could go as a credit to the buyer for miscellaneous repairs or asbestos. And the bank contact's like, yeah, that should be fine. Well, I'll talk to my superior so we can get the documentation all worked out and everything. Like, okay, thank you. So they're getting that worked out in the meanwhile. And in the meanwhile, I'm contacting escrow. It's like, you guys need to have your closing documents lined up in order properly. But there will be one more change. There's a credit going to the buyer eventually. So please get it done. Like, okay, cool. So in the middle of all this, I've been talking back and forth with my transaction coordinator, my TC, the one working in the shadows like they normally do. So I contacted her, said, look, we're getting close to close. So can you make sure that everything's in order? Andres, everything seems to be in order here. Okay, can you do me a favor then? Can you have the manager just give it a quick look-see before we hand him the finalized forms? Like, oh yeah, that's great. That's a good idea. So we can make sure everything's in order before we close. Yes, thank you. Because we had to postpone escrow a little bit, so we got some time. So they take she takes the file and puts it on my manager's desk. About, I would say, 2 hours later, I'm getting panicked emails and phone calls, not from my buyer, not from my seller, not from the bank, not from the tenants, not from my transaction coordinator. Well, yeah, kind of. I was getting panicked emails and phone calls from my office. And then my managing broker calls me. Andres, we have a serious problem with your file. What happened? The Department of Real Estate just showed up to do a surprise audit, and your file is full of errors and incompletions. It's like, what? Like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, you're missing documents here and everything else, I'm like, it's like, well, yeah, because the transaction's not over. It's like, what do you mean it's not over? We're still in escrow. We're not done yet. My TC just did a quick quality control check on it, and everything is set in order, but we put it on Leonard's desk just to make sure that we're not missing anything, so in case we are, we can go back and get it. But we haven't closed escrow. He's like, oh my goodness, yeah, because the DRE was just getting ready to suspend licenses and levy fines. Like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry about that. Like, I was literally just asking if Leonard could just do a quick a preliminary QC on it. He's like, oh, okay, well, the DRE did a QC for you in this case, and they say they want this and that. Like, okay, great, now I know, but I'm sorry for the panic, but no, that's not a finished file. Yeah, we're sorry, it just so happened that your file was the only thing sitting on his desk when they got in there. So I'm like, oh man, I'm so sorry for the panic. It's like the entire office shut down because of this one file, and it was about ready to bring the entire company down. That's how bad it was. Like, no, we're not done. I'm sorry. No. It's like, okay, but at least I know what else they want. So good. That's actually the best QC we can get. So I tried finding a little humor in what could have been a disaster. That's like the IRS for brokers, that's terrible. So we got all that squared away, and I get a call from the bank. It's like, hey, Andres, Marco Real Estate? Yeah, that's me. It's like, yeah, so-and-so from the bank. Like, oh, hey, what's up? What do we got? Yeah, the credit that the buyers want? Yeah, we can't do that like we have it right now, but we could do it. We just got to start the whole process all over again. It's like, what process? We got to renegotiate, so we got to go all the way back to the beginning. So we do have to restart the clock all the way back 2 months, and then go through the procedures again, and we have to submit all new documents for to that effect. What? I have a phone call to make. So I call up my buyer. Buyer, you're messing with the wrong guy. With the stunt that you pulled here, the bank just said, we're gonna restart the process all over again. And you know what? I have 2 other buyers waiting in the wings, because I did, and I do. I've already contacted them for their best and final offer for this property. Because if I have to start this all over again, I'm not doing it with you. And guess what? The only way you get your deposit back is if the seller agrees to release the funds too. It's not just a one-party agreement, it's a 2-party agreement. And knowing my seller, he's not gonna let that money go. So it's gonna stay in escrow until we close this deal. It's like, Andres, you can't do that. It's on the liquidated damages clause. It's there. You're pulling out, trying to play hardball because you think you're being chip shot because you guys are investors. You're not buying a home to live in it. I know that. I'm not falling for that trick. So, what's it gonna be? Are we gonna close this deal, or do I have to go with one of my other offers because I have to start the deal all over again anyway, and I'm not gonna go through it with you? Andres, we want to close the deal, but we want some money back for the asbestos problem. The property was built before 1978. You cannot say you didn't know about the asbestos. Every single property built before 1978 had asbestos in it, and you know that. You just want money out of this thing. So I understand on this. We already cut it pretty thin. We worked ball with you. We stayed through and through with you and all this and that. It's like, look. If you're serious about closing this thing, this is my last pitch effort to get this done. The last pitch. You take it or you leave it. If I secure a credit to you out of my commission for X amount of dollars, will you take it and wire the funds? It's coming out of your commission. That's not what we're asking for, Andres. At least the buyers were honest enough about that because they thought they were getting from the bank. But I told them I'll get it done from my side. Like, well, Andres, if you're serious about that, well, we don't want it to come out of your pocket, but if you're gonna do that, then yes. But as you know, we're gonna need that in writing because the only way we'll be able to say we secured that. I will get it for you. Wire the funds. So I contacted my manager. I told him about the situation. And they're like, Andres, that commission is for the office, it's not for you. No, I understand how this works, sir. I'm not asking you to take it from the gross. I'm telling you to take it from the net. You're getting it out of my check, not the broker's check. You sure you want to do this? I need to move on with my life. I said, okay, we'll do it. So we got that settled. It's signed to that effect. I forwarded it to the buyers. They were happy with that. I forwarded to escrow. Balance your final documents with this number in it. There's the buyer's credit coming out this way. And get this done so we can close escrow. And meanwhile, I'm getting contacted by the tenant. Hey Andres, we didn't get the wire. Yes, I know. You didn't get the wire because my buyer called to cancel the recording, so we couldn't send the wires yet. Because they were having problems with the house condition. I've already settled that and we're back on track. We should be closing by Friday of this week. It's like, okay, great. So that means you should expect the money by Friday this week. It's like, thank you. Did you think we closed that Friday? Oh man. You know, they say if you don't use your math, you forget it. The bank got the settlement statement. They're like, what is this? The math doesn't add up. I'm like, why are you asking me? Escrow sent it to you. But let me look into it. I contacted escrow. Then I saw that they had no idea what the hell they were doing. And the previous escrow officer that had gone back had stepped away, now had to come back again to finalize the summations that the new escrow officer didn't know how to do. screwing all this up. We had to delay the recording again. The funds did come in because the buyers were like, Andres, wow, we didn't think you'd be able to secure this and that fast. So I'm a broker and I know what I'm doing. So the escrow kept screwing up again. Of course, because why wouldn't they? And we couldn't record that Friday. Tenants reach out to me. Hey, you didn't, we didn't get the wire. It's like, yeah, I know. It got pushed to Monday. I was on delivery of the news, I'm sorry. So I let them know. It's like Friday is, Monday is the day, okay? I made sure everything's there. I reviewed all documentation. I made sure that that form was properly balanced for the buyer, the seller, the bank. And this time it was. They were sent out. So we funded. And on Monday, the wires are going out. I call it on Monday. Has the wire gone out? Monday morning. Not yet, it's coming. I call later in the morning. Has it? In about 30 minutes. Called at noon. Did you send it? It's not ready yet. What the hell is taking so long? I had the buyer calling too. They were calling the escrow. They weren't calling through me. It's like, because they needed hey, is it recorded or what's going on? Because wires were going out and the credit needed to be sure that it was being secured for the buyers too. No, so the bank was like asking where's their stuff, and yeah, so I called the escrow around 2 p.m. and they said, yeah, we sent the late wire. Okay. So the tenant was texting me and said, we haven't got the wire yet. I said, yeah, can you please check it after 2 o'clock? He's like, yeah, okay. After 2 o'clock came, Andres, we didn't get the wire. Oh my goodness. I told him, the wires were sent. Maybe because of the late wire, you'll get it on Tuesday. I'm so sorry about this. It's like, so, it's okay. They're like, but believe me, the wire went out, okay? And I even forwarded the email from escrow. It's like, here's the proof. Escrow sent the wire. It's like, okay, thank you. 2:27 p.m. that Monday, December 6th, if I'm not mistaken, or December 8th. I think it was the 6th. I get a call from the tenant. She's crying. She says, Andres, we got the wire. I'm like, oh, thank God. And then she tells me when her husband got home that when he got there and found his wife crying, he's like, why are you crying? It's like, we got the money. And the husband said, you mean he was telling the truth the whole time? Like, finally something going my way, right? Like, woo! We got that going. Talked to the buyer. You satisfied? Here are the keys. So I met up with them. It's like, here are the keys. And in my heart, I said, I'd never have to see you again. But then the buyer said this, because they're investors. So, Andres, we've dealt with so many brokers and agents throughout the years. Everybody talks the talk. You're the first one that does what you say you will do. Everything you said you will get done, you got done. We have not been able to find in the years we've been investing in real estate. You're the real deal. And please keep us in mind if you ever have any other properties you come your way. Thank you, was all I said. And I walked away. One more thing. The seller. I couldn't go to him yet though, because I needed to secure the settlement with the bank. And for that, I needed to call the bank. So I was calling daily since we closed escrow. Hey, has the short sale been approved? Because they still had to approve it. We closed escrow, the funds have been distributed, everything. We settled here. They're like, no, it still shows unsettled. Like, oh my goodness. So I had to call every day. And one day, they couldn't find the file. I'm like, oh my goodness, are you for real? It's like, I'm calling about this file. It's like, we have nothing on that file. I'm like, I've been waiting for that thing to settle. Now you can't find the file. Oh, you're saying you successfully negotiated your short sale? Yes, absolutely. We closed escrow on this date. I've been calling every day. They've been saying it's not settled, and therefore they haven't approved it. They're like, oh, you're all good then. It's like, why? Because we can't find it, therefore it's settled, and the letter will be sent to the seller, to the property owner shortly for a successful short sale negotiations. But yeah, we can't find it here. That means it's settled. Otherwise, it would stay here. Well, then this is good news. It's like, yes. Okay. Woo. All right. So, we closed escrow, and I did an edible arrangements order. I was getting it lined up. But before I sent it out, I went to go meet with the property owner and seller. Remember, they had like 6 other properties that were also needed to go into short sale, and the banks were wanting the short sale before the foreclosure. I showed up to speak to them and say, all right, here it is. Here are the final documents I'm here to go over with you. These are your closing documents that are meant for you. I picked them up so I could especially deliver them for you. First off, to thank you for your business, and to show you this is the bank that settled with this buyer, and what was paid out to my office. And they saw the commission. When they saw the commission, that's what you got paid. Yes, for the fee for a short sale from my office and all the services involved. Yes, that is my fee. And that's for you. You can't share any of that. This is for my office, sir. What you're asking is illegal, and I won't do it. Just looked back, and he just couldn't believe it. It's like, this came from the bank, not from your pocket. Nothing came from your pocket. It was a settlement done with the bank. Like, there's no way we could have gotten some cash out of this transaction. No, because you are in debt to the bank, and the bank settled it. So this is proof that it was settled, and it helps your credit. But I understand you have many other properties that are also undergoing the same thing. It is in your interest, if at all possible, that you do the same that you did with this one. And before I forget, there's something you're going to need for all of those, because apparently it looks like you did a blanket second mortgage. That means all the other properties also have a second mortgage on it. I was able to secure this document from the bank that says that that mortgage has been settled, so they don't have to lay claim on any of it. This document, sir, is gold, and it's yours. This is what you got out of this transaction. Proof. He's like, thank you so much. I know we've been really tough, he said. We just want you to know you've done a hell of a job, and we thank you. Thank you too, sir. Thank you for your business. And with that, I left. I didn't want to tell them that I didn't want to do the other jobs. I don't want them. I didn't want them, so I didn't pursue them. So I left. And when I got back to my office, I ordered an edible arrangement. I sent an edible arrangement to the seller to thank him. And I also sent an edible arrangement to the attorney from the bank in Louisiana, and to the vice president that was upset that she answered the phone for me when I was begging her to help me in the situation. So I sent her an edible arrangements too. To which effect she called me back. She said, thank you for the edible arrangements. There was a very nice gesture of yours for me and my office, and your letter of gratitude. It was touching. Thank you. Normally, we don't, like, in this business, we don't see that kind of courtesy. I told him I couldn't have done this without you. So I wanted to know, and I want to show you my appreciation. My tenants got their money. My sellers got their settlement with the bank for the debt, and my buyers got a property. And I couldn't have done it without you. So thank you. She's like, thank you very much. We hope there's more people out there like you. Thanks. Thank you. One last party. I get a text message. It was a phone call too, but it was more of a text message as a follow-up. Andres, where can we meet you to give you your money back that you gave us, the tenants? I'm like, oh, the Starbucks on this road that was close to the property. Like, okay, yeah, we'll meet at this day on this time. So I get there. She's there with her kids. I'm like, hey, how you guys doing? She's like, then she told me the whole story about how nerve-wracking it all was, and that everybody said that you ran away with the money. Then the money came through, and then the shockwave that's going through her family, they couldn't believe that you were the real deal. Thank you. I really appreciate that after all this. I told her I'm not helping them with the other properties. I told them I'm only helping with this one. This was too much for me to handle, and I don't want to do it again. So this is the last short sale I will ever deal with. I'm sorry for all the pain you had to go through as well, but this thing nearly killed me, and I don't want to go through that emotional distress that affected my entire family as well. So she's like, I understand. So here's the money that you gave me. You can count it. I'm like, I trust you. I put it in my pocket, and I sat down. We talked for a little bit more. I gave her my card. Look, anything that ever comes down the road, you ever need support, you can reach out to me. And she's like, yes, and we'll let everybody know you're the only realtor they should work with. Like, thank you so much. And despite everything, I really wish you have I wish you best of luck, and make the most of Christmas. Merry Christmas. It's like, thank you. Merry Christmas to you too. I wish the little ones goodbye, and I left. And the last part of this entire puzzle was the documents from escrow I needed to get to my office. So I needed to go to the escrow to pick it up. So I went there. Here's everything. This is the broker's package. I have to deliver it to my office. Like, all right, I got it. The manager came out there, was apologizing. Everybody was trying to say, like, hey man, like, I know this was tough, and we all toughed it out, and we got it done, and this and that. I'm like, yeah, you guys need to fix your problems big time, because I can't do work like this again with you guys. They're like, yeah, sorry, look, but if you ever reconsider, man, we'll give you an escrow credit, a discount or something for the hardships that happen here, because the previous escrow officer actually was able to force a credit on the escrow fee on the final statements because of the headache that they caused. There was no way I was going to pay them, or they were going to get paid for a crappy service that they did. So they were able to discount that, and as a courtesy, they extended a discount for a future transaction that I never gave them, because I will not return there for that. Especially since the previous escrow officer kept true to her word, finished my file, and left to better pastures, greener pastures. So I got the broker's package and I delivered it to my office. I'm like, here it is. This is it. My short sale nightmare. And they're like, wow, that was quite a ride, wasn't it? Yes, it was. So here it is. And yeah, just let me know when I can pick up my cut. They're like, yeah, Andres, we don't do 5% on our transactions for short sales. Yeah, I know, that's what I agreed to. Like, yeah, but just now for next time, don't go below 6, because of everything you gotta put through, everything you gotta go through for these transactions. But yeah, I learned my lesson. So I left. Remember, I negotiated with the bank. I brought them to the table because I told them I got an approved contractor vendor on their list to provide a bid for the property. I had a buyer waiting on the wings, and I was willing to do this transaction for 5%, not knowing what I was getting into. In hindsight, yeah, I should have charged more. But here's something interesting. The bank paid the 6%. Like, wait, what? They paid the 6% commission. So even though I gave up some of my commission to the buyer to get them to close this damn deal, the hit wasn't as big because there was 1% more that came. So to that, I gave all thanks to God. He made it happen. And then I was able to sleep for Christmas, because I couldn't enjoy Thanksgiving. Such a bad, stressful day. And it was calamity all around, and I dragged everybody. I dragged escrow, I dragged title, I dragged the buyer, I dragged the tenants, I dragged the sellers, I dragged the bank. I even had to drag my office at some point because some of the documents I already sent weren't being done properly, so I had to do it myself. Because I don't blame them. It's just so chaotic. It's like, where is it? It's there. I'll hand deliver it if I have to because you lost it in the emails. It's okay. Just so much. So all in all, I got it done. And I'll never ever do a short sale again. And thus concludes my short sale nightmare tale. Told in 3 parts. Now you understand why I didn't tell it before. Because this thing was a lot of moving parts. A lot of things that could go wrong and did go wrong. And it came down to the wire too. So when I was faced with a challenge that almost looked insurmountable recently from one of my buyers, it was cake compared to this. Were there some nerves in there? Oh yeah, sure. But I was unfazed. I slept like a baby because I've been through the fire and I didn't get burned. I got strengthened and purified. So it prepared me for everything that's come forward because I look for solutions, I don't look for the problems. I prepare for the problems and then get the answers and solutions to move on. If I run into an immovable object, then I know when this unstoppable force needs to move elsewhere. But until then, I'm going to give it my all. Which is why, if you ever need a realtor, professional, on your side that will look after your interests, I'm your guy.